Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming in early, and welcome to our 15th edition of the IVCA Conclave. When we started this about, even 10 years ago, it was hard to get people in the room. I think today we have about 700 delegates, besides speakers, signed up over the next 2 days. We have a whole bunch of lovely conversations, that you will experience. So we've really come a long way. One of the things that we did, I'm also the chair of the IVCA, and I took office about 2 years ago. When I took office 2 years ago, one of the first conversations I happened to have was with the chair of SEBI, and I was very proud and happy about taking on this mantle. Within 5 minutes, I had a little bit of a reality check. She was very candid in her conversations with me. And one thing that came out very clearly is that there was a little bit of a trust deficit or a lack of confidence that the regulators had with our industry. So one of the key things that our executive committee sort of took on as a challenge is to try and build that trust gap. And so that is something that we worked on. And I want to spend a couple of minutes about talking about what we've done over the last couple of years. And more importantly, what's the road forward? So we spent a lot of time around, as I said, focusing on how do you build that trust deficit. So one of the key elements was Rajat and co sort of devised a code of conduct where each of us as members have signed off onto it in terms of how we operate, right? More importantly, our conversations with the regulators, with the ministry, has changed. As opposed to just going to them with a basket of asks, we sort of changed our tone to, can we find solutions? And can those solutions be practical ones, right? There are ideal solutions that work for us as an industry, but that may not necessarily be the way the regulator wants to operate. So how do you marry the two? How do you get a mix of looking at it from the regulator's perspective as well? I think that has helped us go a long way. There have been a couple of acknowledgements from former whole-time members of SEBI as well, acknowledging the journey that IVCA has traversed over the last couple of years, and in terms of building that trust deficit. So I must compliment both the executive committee as well as the secretariat in helping do that in such a short period of time. The other thing was, when we took over, we were about 325 odd members. Today we stand at 492 members. One of the biggest challenge was that how do you have 325 members, have each one of them has a voice at the table. To a large extent, the IVCA was viewed as sort of a club with a few people who spoke about issues that pertain to them. We wanted to make that group a much larger, a much more inclusive sort of group. Today we have a wide variety of members. It's not just private equity, venture capital, seed investors, Cat3 investors, people focused on real estate, infrastructure, private debt, private credit, venture debt, so all forms, and I'm sure I missed out many, who are there, right? And so how do you ensure that everybody's voices are heard and everybody feels that they want to belong and be part of the IVCA? And so one of the things, again, that we did was, in addition to the 14 elected executive committee members, we nominated another 10 to be part of the EC. We also set up 12 regulatory councils, or 12 councils. So the councils could be either things like regulatory, but could also focus on things like private credit. So it was both horizontals as well as verticals, to allow people who have the same sort of agenda, same sort of thought process, to be able to speak up. And there was a more prominent forum where they could raise their issues, as opposed to it getting drowned in the larger EC. We also then said, as opposed to people from the EC again sitting on these councils, can we get other folks involved? So we actually had, in addition to the 24 EC members, we had another almost 23, 24 people chairing and co-chairing these councils. So as a result, the team was a 50-person leadership team representing the 320 odd members. And that I thought was a good ratio. We had basically 1 in every 6 to 7 firms having some kind of a say in a leadership setting. And I think that has definitely helped make this industry a lot more inclusive. And as we've managed to add another 150 odd members over the last 2 years, I think that is testimony that people believe that they are wanted, their voices are heard, and therefore there's value to being part of the IVCA. So I think, again, compliments to the team to be able to grow that. We've focused on a few things differently as well. Whilst our primary stakeholders are our GPs and interactions with the regulators, etc., one of the things that we branched out and started doing well was also interacting with investors. So each of us our day job is to interact and raise money with investors. We said, how do you make that a little bit more focused of an approach? So we did 2 or 3 things. One is we launched the Maximum India Conclave, which is now again a flagship property of IVCA, held in Singapore every year, where we get the best of the best international LPs to attend. We've had few sessions where we've had ambassadors and consuls of India speaking in a foreign country and talking to their local investors and selling India on behalf of IVCA and on behalf of us. And I think that's a very important thing because our conversation was, while we are selling ourselves, we're also selling India to our investors. Why can't the government of India also do that, given that they're best equipped to do it? So we've actually had a few success stories there in places like Singapore, Tokyo, and New York. In addition to the activity on the foreign LP side, we also have done a number of initiatives on the domestic LP side, right? So besides talking to people like the domestic institutional investors like PFRDA, the pension funds, etc., we also had a domestic institutional investors forum for the first time that was held last year. The idea was, again, to get people in the room to talk about issues that investors face and what can we as an industry do to solve for those and to help serve them as investors. So I think that, again, has gone a long way. That's a flagship property that is only a year or 2 old, but I see that growing over the next 3 or 4 years to be, again, a very important and flagship event. In fact, we are planning to launch what we're going to call the Founders Awards. So, as you know, we do the IVCA Awards, which is tomorrow, where we honor and recognize people from the GP community. But I think, the founders are the ones who really are making the change for each one of us. We are all investing in founders and entrepreneurs and building them. Why should we not recognize them? So we are launching the Founders Awards, I think, from next year, Rajat, right? So hopefully you'll see that. Besides this, we've also done a few other things like on the environment and sustainability side, we've launched Green Returns a few years ago. That today, again, is a flagship event, not just of our industry, but of actually of the financial services industries or the sponsors industry. There are very few conferences of that scale and that depth which talk about things that matter around the climate, sustainability, environment, and what we can do there. Whilst doing that, we actually had a few pop-ups around the Green Return Summit where we had potential entrepreneurs have the ability to meet with investors. One gap that we realized is, they may not necessarily have access to the investors, or vice versa. So we borrowed a term from some of the old school folks will remember the yellow pages. So we borrowed the term and we're calling it green pages. And we should be launching that soon, which will be a platform a fully digital platform where we'll be able to get investors on one side and budding entrepreneurs on the other side and try and build that connect with them. We've also done a few things around partnerships with academia. So we've had things with Ashoka University, ISB. We've launched a center with the IIM as well. And we want to do a lot more there. So the VC 101 is a big initiative that we've been running for some time, which helps build knowledge, learning, and skills. And then there's the IVCA Academy, that will be launched soon. Again, we will share some material there. The idea is to talk about issues that each of us face and how do you build that skill sets amongst ourselves and get smarter about these things. Besides the academic partnerships, we've also done a few other partnerships with things like, so we've partnered with WinPE, which is Women in Private Equity. We've done a partnership and we saw there are a number of our partners with the other venture capital fora globally. We have US ISPF. We have partnerships and MOUs signed with things like Gift City as well. I think one important thing that we've also done is that we've signed a MOU with the Institute of Chartered Accountants, which has helped us, at least lay down, key aspects around reporting and disclosure for our industry, as well as, the CA Institute ultimately is a big, area where a big institution where a lot of our professionals come. So I think it was important to also build that connect there. On the regulatory front, we've had, n number of interactions. I won't get into too many of those details right now. But what we are also trying to do is again take that dialogue and discussion to a different level. And you'll see that reflected somewhat in the conversations we have later today as well. All this is work. Rajat reminded me that besides work, we also do some fun activities. We have launched, or we did do a tournament for cricket, golf, pickleball, and then there are the local IVCA circles, which are again networking events for people to meet and collect. I don't know if you've not participated, interested in some of these, please do sign up. We'll do more of those going forward. So where we stand today, I think, is a huge opportunity, and it's a challenge as well as an opportunity for us, each of us as GPs, as members, but overall as an industry as well. Clearly, the recognition that we've gotten is something that we're very, very proud of, and hopefully, we'll take on soon. The new executive committee will take on soon. I must, before I end, I just need to give you a few, I've been told I need to give you a few statistics around this conference itself. Today we have about 20, I'm going to move to this mic, yeah. We have about 20 panel discussions and fireside chats over the next couple of days. We have 5 report launches, 3 presentations, and the awards that happen tomorrow. We have about 100 speakers lined up, talking about various points and giving different perspectives. I cannot acknowledge all of them right now, but I'm privileged to say that we have some of the distinguished names are and include Shri Tuhin Pandey, the chair of SEBI, Shri S. Raman, the pension fund PFRDA chair, Shri Sandeep Pradhan, whole-time member SEBI, Dr. Ruchi Chojar, ED SEBI, Shri Jayant Sinha, former Union Minister, Government of India, who's also the senior advisor for our IVCA Climate and Sustainability Council, Shri Anant Narayan, former whole-time member SEBI, Srimati Suparna Tendon, CEO the NPS Trust, Srimati Aparna Tyagarajan, CGM SEBI, Shri Sarvana Kumar, CEO NSIC Venture Fund, Ms. Shamala Gopinath, former Deputy Governor, RBI. So in terms of the agenda, it spans the full breadth of the alternate capital ecosystem. We're talking about venture capital, private equity, domestic, foreign, climate, regulation, exits, founders, and enterprise buildings. I'm confident that the discussion over the next 2 days will be thoughtful, candid, and forward-looking, and will help shape the next chapter of the Indian alternate capital industry. So with that, I thank you all for coming and welcome you and wish you a very happy and successful and productive conclave. Thank you.